Do you know that 1 in 6 people in the United States is living with a disability? And according to estimates, by 2030, 1 in 4 Americans will have a disability. Disability can be physical or mental, and it can impact how we do things from our everyday lives to reaching our dreams. But that doesn't mean we can't reach our dreams. Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to meet an amazing woman who was blind and deaf since she was 19 months old. Yet she earned a bachelor's degree, wrote 12 books, and traveled around the world. She used sign language and Braille to communicate and even learned to speak. She was a political activist and a lecturer. Can you guess who she was? Yes, you got it right. It was Helen Adams Keller. Helen Adams Keller was born on June 27, 1880. In Tuscumbia, Alabama. When Helen was 19 months old, she developed a high fever which left her blind and deaf. At that time, doctors were unable to help her, so they sent her to her family home. Her parents, Arthur H. Keller and Edna K. Keller, were very disappointed when they saw their little girl in this state, but they did not give up on her. They decided to hire a teacher for her, and that proved to be a turning point in Helen's life. Anne Sullivan was a young teacher who had lost her sight when she was 20 years old. She understood what it was like to live with a disability. So she accepted the job and went to the Keller family home. She found that Helen was naughty and had no manners. She would throw tantrums and did not understand anything. Helen also hated Anne at first because she was trying to make Helen learn, and that was not easy. There are many stories about how Anne taught Helen, but one of the most famous ones is about a water pump. Helen did not know what water was, so Anne took her to the pump, turned it on, and spelled the word water in Helen's hand. That was a breakthrough in Helen's learning. After that, everything changed. Helen became more obedient and started to understand the world around her. When Helen was 7, Anne took her to the Perkins Institution for the Blind in Boston. There, Helen learned to read Braille and use a typewriter. She also started attending public school. To go to school, Helen had to travel by train every day. But when she went to the station, she realized that the train was delayed. She got very angry and started screaming and crying. Then Anne put her hand on Helen's and spelled, "The train is late. We will wait for it." Helen calmed down after reading those words. This incident showed Helen that she could not depend on others to tell her what was happening. She had to learn to read lips and observe things on her own. At school, Helen had some classmates who could see and hear. They teased her and called her names, but Helen did not let that bother her. She focused on her studies and graduated from high school in 1898. The same year, she entered Radcliffe College, which was a part of Harvard University. Helen wanted to study literature, but her teachers thought she should study something easier. So she majored in geography and history. She graduated from Radcliffe in 1904, becoming the first deaf-blind person to earn a bachelor's degree. After graduation, Helen continued to learn new things. She traveled all over the United States and Europe, giving lectures about her experiences. She also wrote several articles and books. In total, Helen wrote 12 books. Her first book was The Story of My Life, which was published in 1903. This book told the story of her childhood and adolescence, and it became a bestseller. Her other books included World I Live In, Midstream, The Open Door, Let Us Now Praise Famous Men, Teacher Anne Sullivan Macy, Out of the Dark, I Go to School, My Life with Helen Keller, and The Cat in the Hat. Her autobiography, The Story of My Life, was made into a movie in 1933, and in 1962, there was another movie based on her life. Both movies were nominated for an Academy Award. Helen was a very busy person. She traveled a lot and gave hundreds of speeches each year. She also worked with the American Foundation for the Blind to help other people who were blind or visually impaired. Despite all this, she managed to find time for her hobbies. Helen loved swimming, gardening, and playing with her cats. She had many cats throughout her life, and they would often join her when she was working or relaxing. One of her favorite cats was a Persian cat named Rusty. He would curl up on her lap while she was typing, or he would sit on the floor and watch her work. Even though Helen's life was full of achievements, she faced many challenges. One of the biggest ones was finding a husband. Most men were afraid to marry a woman who could not see or hear, but Helen did not give up. She wanted to get married and have a family. Finally, she met a man named John Macy. He was a writer and a lecturer, and he was not afraid of Helen's disabilities. They got married in 1905, and they had 2 children, a son and a daughter. Helen was very happy with her family, but she also missed her independence. She loved traveling and working, and she did not want to give that up. So she and John agreed that she would continue to travel and lecture, and he would take care of the children. As Helen grew older, her health started to deteriorate. She suffered from diabetes, high blood pressure, and cataracts. In 1968, she had an operation to remove her cataracts, but it was unsuccessful. She lost her eyesight completely. Helen did not let that stop her. She continued to write and travel until she was almost 90 years old. She died on June 1, 1968, at her home in Easton, Connecticut. She was 87 years old. Helen's legacy lives on. There are many organizations that help people with disabilities, and they are inspired by Helen's courage and determination. She showed the world that people with disabilities can achieve anything they set their minds to. She was a true inspiration, and we will never forget her. Now, let's check if you have been paying attention. Which of these statements about Helen is false? A. Helen lost her sight and hearing due to a high fever. B. Helen attended regular schools and graduated from high school. C. Helen's parents gave up on her after her illness. D. Helen's first book was published when she was 19 years old. If you chose C, that is correct. Helen's parents did not give up on her. Instead, they hired a teacher for her. And now it's time for some fun. Take our quiz and find out which historical figure you are. Click on the link below and choose your answers. After the quiz, you can share your results on social networks. Also, subscribe to the channel to be the first to know when we publish new videos. You can watch videos in different languages. Just click on the captions to choose your preferred language. Thank you for watching. See you next time.